Hello again. Today I've got with me a pretty interesting comic called Shirtless Bear Fighter. This comic was by Jody Leheup, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, Sebastian Gerner, and the art by Nil Vendrell. I was at this comic book shop, which, by the way, if you're ever in Iowa City, good place I recommend you check out is DreamWorks, Daydreams comic book shop. Daydreams, not DreamWorks. This is where I found it, and it was pretty interesting. I was just looking around the comic book shop, not really expecting to find anything interesting, until I saw this, picked it off the shelf, skimmed through it a little bit, and I knew I had to read it. I knew I had to buy it. The story, the art is just balls to the walls. It's weird what this comic is, and I love it for it. So the story. The story of the first issue, at least, because this is all that I have right now. The first issue shows that a bear is terrorizing the city, and an FBI agent named Agent Burke takes his team into the wilderness to locate a wild man named Shirtless. His name is Shirtless, who, as a baby, was raised by bears to help them protect the forest from being torn down until a terrible event took place that made Shirtless swore to fight all bears. And while we're on the subject of Shirtless's origins, when he was a baby, he already had a full-grown beard and a schlong bigger than the average adult male. So, just kind of letting you know what kind of the direction of this comic. Pretty interesting. So yeah, after a terrible event, he swears to fight all bears. And Burke seeks out Shirtless for his skills in bear fighting. Although reluctant at first, Shirtless helps fight the bears terrorizing the city. By the end of the issue, we learn that some sinister forces are at work behind the bear attacks. I wanted to talk about the art. I really like the art, mostly for its coloring. Everything just kind of pops out and feels very lush, like the green in the trees and the grass. Another aspect of the art that I really enjoy is some of the things they envision, like Shirtless piloting what is basically the X-Jet covered in bear fur with a dead bear's head at the front. Yeah. And I would say that the art direction goes hand in hand with the humor of the comic. Like this page right here where, let me just find it for you. There we go. Just this general scene right here. The FBI is trying to convince Shirtless to help them fight the bears that are terrorizing the city. And, of course, Shirtless isn't interested in money per se, but he does like pancakes, or, my bad, he prefers to call them flapjacks. If you can read that. He gets mad when that lady over there calls them pancakes. He calls them flapjacks. And what I think is just the best is when they try and bribe him with flapjacks, he takes a stack of the flapjacks and runs his fingers through them like they're a stack of cash. So some of the humor is just pretty interesting. I like it a lot. And another scene that I really like is this serious scene right here where it's like, you know, Agent Burke is trying to tell Shirtless that the government is willing to do anything, and when Shirtless says nukes, like, are they going to use nukes? Burke is like, all options are on the table, but you know as well as I do, the president won't negotiate with Bearrorists. I honestly don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, I honestly don't know if you guys can see that, but not terrorists, Bearrorists. Puns. I'm all about them. So, all in all, personally, I would say pick up Shirtless Bear Fighter issue 1. The art is amazing. The story is hilarious. You're going to have a good time reading this. I, as of now, do not know if there is any more to this series right now. And when I was at the comic book store where I found this copy, it was the only one I saw on its shelf. So I'm probably not the only one who thinks it's good. I hope there is more to Shirtless Bear Fighter, and if so, maybe I might review further issues in the future. Those are my thoughts on Shirtless Bear Fighter, issue 1. Check back again when I have something else to review. Until then.